do not set your under eyes like this. Do not set anywhere on your face like this. Now, ultimately, the way that you set your under eyes and your face in general is not just down to obviously the powder. It's how you've prepped it, how you've applied your concealer, how much of the concealer you've applied, what the wait time has been between layers, and kind of a bit of everything. So right now I have nothing on my under eyes. I do have some foundation on everywhere else. I do want to go in with a little bit of eye cream because I just want to make sure my under eyes are prepped and nice and hydrated. Now, I'm mainly talking about how you set your face, right? But the reason I have my foundation on is because I feel like there's a generic way that you apply your foundation. So let's just say you've applied your foundation and then we're going to go in with concealer. So concealer wise, I am going to use this here. This is my Tarte Shape Tape. I'm going to apply this on one side because I want you to kind of see the don't first. Sorry for the noise, guys, outside. We're going to just whack this on because obviously this makes a huge difference with how you set your concealer and how it will set your under eyes and how it looks as well afterwards. So right now we've applied it everywhere there. That's a little bit too much. For some people that might actually work, but I would say, especially if you're in your 40s, it's a little bit too much. Now what we're going to do is get our beauty blender. It's completely dry and I'm going to now just buff that in as normal, right? And I'm not buffing it too much. I'm just kind of letting it sit there. Now it looks nice and flawless, but the problem is it's going to end up creasing because we've got a lot of product there. So what mistake I see happen often, which I'm saying don't do, is people will basically get their powder. You've got your powder puff. You're going to get all the powder onto the puff, right? However much you've got here, let's get a little bit extra because I'm basically telling you what you shouldn't do. Got this powder. Now, I haven't got rid of any creases. I've gone first in with my concealer. I've got my foundation on there. And now we're going to go straight in with powder. Do not set your under eyes like this. Do not set anywhere on your face like this. Now, we've got the powder. We are applying this. I don't know why I said it like that. We are applying this. Obviously, I'm applying it. But we're going to let that sit now, right? And marinate and bake, whatever you want to call it. Now, I'm going to go in to the other side and I'm going to do the same thing, but I am going to apply less concealer and just be a bit more strategic with my placement, right? So I'm not applying it all over the under eye. Now, what I want to do here is spray my sponge a couple of times with a hydrating or setting spray. You're then gonna blend this in, just buff, and it's gonna soften up the formula. And it's gonna be nice and flawless, but it's not a thick layer, right? Okay. We've got a really nice flawless under eye, but it's not packed full of a lot of product. So we've still managed to get a really flawless under eye area, similar to what we had on this side, but the difference is less product. So it just goes to show you don't actually need that much product. Now the trick we're gonna do here, which is something we didn't do on that side, is we're gonna use our spray. You can use like a setting spray, you can use a hydrating spray. I'm actually gonna use a hydrating spray. I'm gonna use this because I really do love this. This is the Anua Blue Dewy Spray. So many of you guys have actually said, I think it's over on my other channel, because I did a video basically like how to set your under eyes with zero powder, and that's basically for people who don't necessarily want to use powder at all. Obviously this one here, it's for people who want to use powder and have to use powder, because with some people that's the only way it's going to set. But I did actually show you how you can use this, and it's such a game changer. And I've had so many of you actually leave me comments there and DM me and say that this has been a complete game changer for you. Like, you've gone out and bought this and it actually works. And I just want to say that I'm so glad it does. Like, for me, I feel like this is such a good option when I don't want to use powder, or if I'm working with people who don't want powder, and it genuinely does work. It's not a gimmick, it's not anything like that, it genuinely does work. So the link is in the description, make sure you click on it and it will take you straight to it. So what we're going to do here We're going to spray this on this side. Now we're going to let that settle down just for a couple of kind of seconds. Let that dry down. It doesn't take long to dry down, to be fair, because it's such an ultra fine mist that it doesn't drench your whole face. So then what we're going to do is we're going to get our beauty blender. We're now going to make sure there's no creasing on our under eyes or smile lines. We're going to get the powder. This is if you want to still use a puff. You can use a brush if you want to. We've got the powder in the sponge, right? So we're not dipping into the powder and then dipping onto the skin. Now what we're going to do here is press onto the hand. So we're really pushing the powder into the puff. Now here, we've added the powder. Anywhere we feel we need it. Don't go back into the powder. Whatever's on here, it's enough. You're going to go immediately into a brush such as the Real Technique setting brush. You're going to dust this off immediately. Next thing you're going to do, because we're not done yet, we're going to get that spray again, right? Or you can get any other hydrating spray or a setting spray. You're then going to spray that over it. And this is now basically melting the powder a little bit and going to make it look more skin-like. This is basically almost kind of like stopping it from looking powdery, and it's just not going to cake, it's not going to look creased, it's not going to look like too much makeup, whereas this side, we've been letting it kind of bake. Now what we're going to do here is remove the powder. And oh my God, what a difference. Guys, I mean, such a difference. Can we just zoom in here? I really want you to see this. Look at the difference in the under eyes. I can see from far away there's discoloration here because we had so much product on underneath and we've let it sit. And there's even like a kind of almost mask-like finish around the skin on this side. This side is pretty normal, very natural looking, not heavy. It's set, it's not going to go anywhere, it's not going to cake, it's not going to look creased, it's also not looking heavy, whereas this side is really genuinely looking heavy to me. Like I feel like this is very blotchy on the under eye area. It's actually enhanced some areas that I don't want it to enhance, like where my lines are there. And the smile line I feel like is a little bit more obvious and it's heavy. So do not set your makeup that way. I don't feel like it actually does anyone any justice. So really try and kind of like use that hydration between your layers to set your makeup in the right way. There's another option as well. So what I would suggest here is basically getting your sponge, and you can do this after on top of whatever I've shown you already, or you can do this instead of spraying your face on one at the end with your hydrating spray. So you can get your sponge, you can spray this with your hydrating spray, and then you basically press onto the skin. What I'm ultimately trying to tell you here is do not just press your powder. I need to get another one of these because it's running out. Do not just press your powder onto your skin and just let it sit there. It's really not doing much. I feel like people have this misunderstanding with powder where they feel like you've really got to pack it on in order for it to do its job, and you really don't. There's a very clever way of using powder and using hydrating sprays and hydration in general to ensure that your powder doesn't dry out your skin and make everything look old. That's the last thing we want. Ultimately, what we want from a powder is for it to basically allow our base to last for as long as possible without creasing, without looking heavy, without looking cakey. And I feel like on this side I can really see that it's been mattified and there's powder there. Whereas on this side I feel like I can see the dimension more in my skin and it doesn't look so powdery. So this spray is genuinely a game. This is not about the spray. This could be about using any hydrating spray, by the way. This is not about only using this. It's really about understanding that you can use hydration on top of powder if done in a very clever way, right? So like, for example, if you use a spray which has, for example, like maybe too many ingredients that should not be in there, then that's obviously going to help to lift off the makeup. So really be clever with what you're using. Make sure it's something that sits well on top of makeup, but also doesn't disturb the makeup. So something with all natural ingredients is probably best. Like this here actually has, I've got so much makeup on this because I use this all the time. This has like hyaluronic acid. It's got other goodness in here which is very good for your skin. It doesn't disturb the makeup. It's got ingredients in there which are genuinely good for the skin and good for hydration. It's also something you can carry out through, like carry along with you during the day as well. But again, like I said, you can use other setting sprays as well. Like even the glazing mist from Rhode is a good option because it's something that really does give that dewy skin finish if that's what you're going for. But ultimately, when you use your powder, make sure that you use a minimal amount, and you also make sure that you've really pushed it into the puff before you've pushed it into the skin. Powder is something that is great for keeping your makeup on all day, but it can also be something that makes you look 5 years older. So it's really about understanding how to make it look less powdery and not make it look worse. So hydrating sprays are going to help you so much, but also make sure that your skin is really prepped properly underneath. Now I know that I'm always kind of talking about how you should really make sure you use your hydration underneath and prep properly, but when you want your foundation to last longer and your base to last longer, and you don't want it to kind of slide off, and you want to make the most of the powder that's setting it, but you also don't want it to make it look cakey, you also want to make sure that the layers that you're applying underneath are very thin. So nothing heavy, nothing too oily, nothing that's going to lift off from underneath. So everything's going to help your powder at the end of the day. But like what I'm trying to say is, like, give your powder a helping hand by making things easy for it, rather than making it harder for the powder by adding a whole load of like thick cream underneath or adding thick layers. Like use thin layers of everything, and you're actually going to get the best out of your powder and how you set it, how you set your base. So ultimately you can use a brush or a puff. If you were to use a brush, I would just press into the powder and then basically press in after you've removed all your creasing, and then go around the face in that way. But I really hope you can see this. I can see this like patch here, which is so different to the other side. This side is just so nice and clean. I've still got that flawless finish. I feel this is why a lot of the time you'll hear people say, oh, my makeup looks amazing before I've set it, but then once I set it and I've applied the powder, everything looks different. And usually it's your technique or how much product you're using, or not leaving enough of a gap between each layer, or maybe applying too much before and then, you know, everything's kind of ends up looking different once you've applied your powder. So think about what it is that you've done. It could be a bit of trial and error for you, to be honest, for you to just figure it out as you go along and like understand what it is that you're doing wrong. But ultimately, you want to make sure you use the smallest amount and you're very strategic with your application. When you're over 40, you're already dealing with things like fine lines, wrinkles and stuff like that. Applying powder and pressing it on and then just baking is just making everything worse. Like this genuinely has ended up enhancing like creases here. It looks crappy, it looks dry. It honestly has not done me any favors whatsoever. In fact, it's made stuff obvious that I didn't know was there. So just be careful with how much you apply and really make sure you get that hydration on, but in thin layers. So ultimately what you want to do is thin layers. Hydrating sprays are going to be your best friend in your 40s. So just remember that and use the right ones, not ones that are going to end up making everything slide off. Please do like this video, subscribe and hit the bell button so you don't miss my next one. And have you subscribed to the beautybreakfastclub.com? Have you? Because it is my online publication where I write about all things beauty, mindset, health, style, culture, a bit of everything. There's even an over 40 section on there. So you literally type it in on your desktop and you'll see a little corner tab that says over 40s and you're going to love it. So everything that you will find in the over 40 section is all newsletters that you will find relatable if you are in your 40s. A bit of everything that we go through in our 40s. So hopefully it makes you feel like you're not alone, and you know, it's just helpful in some way. It's free to subscribe, but that gives you access to one free newsletter every week or so. But if you actually go for the paid version, which is the same as getting yourself one coffee a month, that unlocks the entire site, but you also get to ask me questions on the group chat in the platform. So you only get to join that group chat if you go for the paid version. And on top of that, you get to meet all these amazing people on there, which I think you're gonna love. So yeah, I hope to see you there. Let me know if you have any questions about this whole technique and also about the setting spray, like the hydrating spray, or what kind of spray you're thinking of using. I genuinely would go for a powder which works well for you. I personally love the Huda Beauty, but it doesn't mean it's always going to work for me, because I feel like as I get older, I'm probably going to transition more into a much more lightweight powder. But currently it's working for me. So fingers crossed, let's see how long I can keep that up, because I know things do change. I've definitely had to change the way that I set my makeup and the amount of powder that I use as I've gotten older. I'm 46 now, and I never in a million years thought I guess you just not forget, but you just don't think anything's really gonna change in terms of your technique and your application as you get older, but it really does. So yeah, I've learned myself I'm well into my 40s, so I fully get it. And hopefully this is helpful to you, because I know what I'm talking about when it comes to that. So I'm gonna love you and leave you. And if you have any questions, let me know. Everything's listed in the description, so click on the links and it'll take you straight to it. And I will see you on the next video.